I am second year and graduating student with Master of Arts in French Education and Curriculum Studies. I'm also the strategic advisor for the African Youth Congress Lesotho chapter. So, having said that, I must acknowledge that in our midst, we have the Deputy Speaker in the National Assembly, Honorable 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗛. May you please wave them so that they can know you. From there we have our management of the university, represented by the Director of Student Affairs, 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗧. Please wait for them. And then we have our chair from the Continental Chair for African Youth Congress. I will introduce him and other colleagues when they are about to communicate, and also give you their biography. And also we have our coordinator from the Botswana chapter, Mr. 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗧 over there. And then we have our coordinator from Lesotho chapter, next to me here. And then we have Ntate over there. I will also explain and say their biography as they are about to say some few remarks. So, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. So, first and foremost, now I would like to invite the annual management represented by the Director of Student Affairs to welcome us to this event. Madam TSA.
Once again, good morning, everyone. My name is 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗧. As it has been said, I'm the Director of Student Affairs. An icebreaker. I dreamt about you on Tuesday, but I'm not sure whether it was you or Mente. But I want to claim, now that it's you is here, it must have been you. I dreamt about you. We were enjoying a hiking. I'm passionate about hiking. We were with 𝗤𝗙𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗧 hiking, and then suddenly we were dressed formally, discussing fashion. And then I don't know what else happened. But when I woke up, I appreciated the fact that last week Friday, we were with Mente at the graduations, and now we are with you. I find myself blessed to have been with all of you, both of you, in the same room within 7 days. Good people, you are very much welcome to the National University of Lesotho. It hasn't been an easy travel. It hasn't been an easy travel, and it is actually a sacrifice that you are here. You are very much welcome to the university that is nurturing thought and transformative leaders. Our esteemed guests and brothers from the other side of the borders, we are so graced by your presence. It means that our youth are taking the right direction, steps towards the right direction. Your wisdom your guidance, your encouragement is going to assist them in strategizing. Particularly, I have seen in the achievement of the national strategic goals. Yes, youth development by you, thought leaders. You are not just leaders, you are leaders who think, leaders who are going to deliberate, exchange ideas, bring strategies, agree to disagree, but mostly be intentional about implementation. I have seen young, passionate, knowledgeable academics like you discussing brilliant ideas with very good English, just to end up not implementing. Even in the 𝗖𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗛, there was this forum. And then after this forum, what else? So the peak is implementation. And how do you implement as a leader? How do you implement? Over time, I have observed leaders who have become narcissists or self-service. They only do things for their own good. We live in a time of broad knowledge, information, technology. So I have heard young people talking about the word narcissism, saying he's a narcissist, she's a narcissist. I wonder if most of you are aware of what that word means. Narcissus was a Greek deity or god. Psychology tells us so, but he was a Greek god. So this could have emanated from a myth. He was very handsome, or maybe even beautiful. We are told from head to toe, the gentleman was beautiful. His hands, his mouth, those who know Greeks will remember their dark hair and their complexion. They are quite a beautiful and handsome nation. So Narcissus was also brilliant, like yourselves. But here was his doom or his fall. He loved himself so much. He loved himself. He achieved a greater wealth, shared a lot of wisdom, and was admired by his society. So what brought him to his fall? He went to a river. During those times, there were no mirrors. So he went to a mirror to go and, to the river, to go and view an image of himself in the river. And then he saw his stature, his handsomeness, and he came closer to admire himself, and closer and closer, until he slipped and fell and drowned in the river. What am I saying? You are doing all these things not for yourselves, not for your names, not to count, not to write in your CV, Mr. 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗛, that you have held or hosted this forum and that forum and that forum. These ladies and gentlemen who are seated here to be with you, to share their wisdom, and to influence the policies that are going to be discussed, are here to ensure that you really become leaders who sacrifice, who influence, who share ideas, not for your sakes, but for the sakes of others. Good people, the National University of Lesotho once again welcomes you. I was told to do just this, which means I am expected to go out. Now can I sit for a few minutes and enjoy what's going to happen? Yes. Can I? Thank you. I may. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Director, Student Affairs at the National University of Lesotho, for welcoming us and our guests. And indeed, we are welcomed at the National University of Lesotho, the University of First Choice and Nation's Pride. Having said that, at this juncture, I would like to call Ms. 𝗤𝗢𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗔𝗡 to address us as the Lesotho chapter. She is the coordinator, Lesotho chapter for African Youth Congress. 𝗤𝗢𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗔𝗡, please come and address us and also inform us why exactly are we here, why are we gathered here. Over to you, Madam. May we welcome her with a round of applause.
It's okay. Thank you, Mr. 𝗤𝗢𝗥𝗖𝗔𝗡. Let me take this opportunity to thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and 𝗟𝗘𝗦𝗦𝗢𝗧𝗛𝗢, and thank you, Honorable Mafete from 𝗤𝗢𝗡𝗦𝗦, our Member of Parliament. Thank you, the Continental Chairperson of Africa Youth Congress, leader of leaders from Zimbabwe. And also thank you, Honorable 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗢, the coordinator of Africa Youth Congress from Botswana. He is also the youth leader. Thank you very much, and everyone who has been here. I am 𝗤𝗢𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗔𝗡. I'm the coordinator of Africa Youth Congress, and it's a new organization in the country because we just joined it when it was around March. Yes. I think most of you just need to know what is Africa Youth Congress. We are much aware that we need to claim our space as young people. But first of all, we have to unite, because we can't do anything if we are not united. And in our country, the politics deny everything. So what are we doing to unite young people? What, are we able to act, or we just preach, then it's all? It's not about whether the summit or something. But now we need to unite with other young people from different countries, because our issues across the continent, they are the same. But if Botswana I'm going to address issues of Botswana, but Lesotho have the same issue. You see, these people, these old people, I'm sorry, when I say old people. Who's old here? Those people who are in the parliament, but old, like, it's fine. But they're old. So it's my concern. Also, it's a concern that we don't have young people in our parliament. The reason is why. Can anyone answer me, why don't we have the young people in our parliament? Why?
I think it's because we do not participate in primary politics.
Why are we not participating?
And the why is very vast, could differ from me and the next person, but then I think objectively it's because we're excluded in the way the politics are drawn in African countries. It is thus this organization was created, because the voices are the same.
Thank you. Do you have opinion? Yes.
I believe mainly it's because of the disinterest of the youth in participating not just in parliament or governance, but in politics as well, due to the gap that we see between our leaders and the youth, that most of the time we see the gap where we perceive leaders as achieving their own vendettas in parliament and not actually serving the people. So we as the youth feel like trying to initiate something would be too much of an effort that won't result in any good yield.
Thank you. We are so brilliant, but it depends on I'm also a youth leader. So so we have to wake up just to show those people who they can't discuss the issues without us. And it's my plea now, by 2020, we start now. You don't have to wait until tomorrow. You just need to start from your community to be active. How many are you attending the pizza? How many of you? Bus attending, why are you not attending? You see what? You see now? It's because Unari gets excluded from the community. So when you say you want to go to the parliament, you just start from Mutu or right? So today, every day, as Africa Youth Congress, our main focus is to unite Africa, but we can't start Africa as our country. Can you please come to Lesotho then talk to Bachala Lesotho? So that how can we unite the universities from different sides the country from rural areas, from urban areas, in the same space. Because there is this gap between Batam from rural areas and Batam urban areas. I think by urban areas you think the smart, but it has a pause. So that one out from rural area, they are not well informed. Because Batam how are from the university, there is 1, 2, 3, but how about CC? Meaning we're going to just have that gap where we must have the summit so that then we're going to run in parliament. Because we need at least 40% by 2028. Because these people, they don't understand the issues at all. How about you see? Let me example look at NMDS. Every year like try. So but this is how you need that man. They don't understand. So today our theme is African Youth Engagement for Sustainable Development. You might find sustainable development. Anyone who can explain for us what is sustainable development? No one, I guess. Okay,
I think I can explain sustainable development goals as it's normally addressed or spoken. So basically, SDGs is a series of goals under the United Nations, the UN. And I was just on them on my phone, like So basically, we have 70 sustainable development goals that are there under the United Nations. And for example, they talk about number one is there's zero hunger that must be achieved within a certain period of time. Reduced inequalities, goal number, there are many. So basically, it's those targets and developments that are supposed to be reached by African countries. I think various countries, they set their time frame. Lesotho, for instance, we have, I know there are other goals that are supposed to have been achieved by 2030. So 2060 also there, it also underpins or pins some of the development goals. So there are various programs that fall under the SDGs. So I can go very let me see.
Okay. No, this question of like you talked about time frame, yeah, for SDG states and the beneficial by 2030. And by 2030, when how we the record we achieved 1, 2, 3, because we are not part of this. Because they affect us. So now we must say we are building the better Africa for young people. Maybe we're not going to benefit, but the next generation, we're doing this for Bona. And by so saying, I would just like to say, we must ensure that young people of Africa, we become the catalysts of revolutionary change, reunite and claim our space. There is nothing that can be discussed about us from us. We must step in power, take up our space, be bold, be heard and be seen. We are capable, we are unstoppable. More than anything, we belong to Africa that changed the space. We need Africa that has limitless opportunities, Africa that is united, Africa that has free trade and free movement. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Coordinator Lesotho Chapter, for emphasizing. I must indicate that in here we have the members of SRCs, we have leaders of various academic associations. So indeed you are talking to the right people, because if they have taken the leadership position in their academic associations, that shows the level of responsibility that they now carry in leadership, and it does not end here at the National University of Lesotho, and it's going across all factors. So we also have different organizations like Young Women of Africa and other organizations that are represented here. So indeed, as youth, we have to be catalysts of change, and we should play our role as youth. Having said that, I want us to call upon we are now going to message of support to various organizations. And first and foremost, I would like to call the representative of Young Women of Africa. The representative of Young Women of Africa is Miss or Mrs. I'll call the one that I know, Hlodiso Maungo. And Hlodiso Maungo is the former member of the SRC here at the National University of Lesotho. She is also a member of the Youth League of Basotho Action Party. So you will therefore understand, leaders, that we don't just take the responsibility here at the National University of Lesotho, but so that our voices can be heard, we have to also take other roles, the leadership roles in the other organizations, being political, civil societies, anywhere where we can influence change, where we can influence some policies that will benefit us and benefit the entire Lesotho and Africa. May I introduce you? Over to you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today?
Good, good.
Let me say all protocol observed. I am standing here on behalf of Young Women of Africa, the Lesotho chapter, as the Treasurer General of that organization. Okay, I don't have much to say. We were invited here by Africa Congress, the Lesotho chapter. It is an honor, let me to have this invitation. It is really an honor that you find us befitting to come and stand before these young people today. And these distinguished and honorable guests. I'm really in awe and I feel very little. I don't think I was fit enough to come and stand here. But thank you for seeing that in me and in our organization. We really thank you as young women of Africa. Having said that, we would just like to say to the Africa Youth Congress, the Lesotho and Africa Youth Congress at large, we thank you for convening this dialogue here today. It is true that many young people are not aware and do not have any idea about what the SDGs are. And unfortunately, they mainly concern us as young people. Because we talk of education for all. Who has to be educated? Is it our mothers, our grandmothers, or our fathers? No, it has to be us. So why are we not aware of such things that concern us, that shape our future? How do we want to take up spaces if we do not know what has to transform the future that we are? We are the future. Honorable Mosena, Honorable Mafete, I think they are almost at the age that we can say the future is not there. I'm sorry to say, I'm very sorry to say, but that is the truth. We always say we are underrepresented, but we do not have that consciousness to get involved in what matters to us. Do we really want a future for us? Do we really want to build a future for the young generation coming after us? For our children. We now talk of us and our children. Do we want our children to come and live in these miserable lives that we are living? Is that what we want for them? Definitely no. I don't think anyone wants that for their child. As much as we hate it for ourselves, I don't think we would want it for us. So, as young men of Africa, we are voices for young women. We are voices for young women who cannot talk for themselves. We say we want women who are able to stand. We want to bridge the gap between men and women. In as much as we can't deny it or say we are transforming and we are in the revolution stage, but women are still marginalized. And we as young women of Africa say no, that has to come to a gentle stop. We have to take up spaces as women. Not that we have to be disrespectful, not that we should undermine men, but we have to bridge that gap and have equal opportunities and chances as men have. That is what young young women of Africa is. In as much as we talk, we can advocate for girls and young women, we also say men should also not be oppressed. As we pioneer for women, we should not oppress men as well. That would be good. So, we want to commend the Africa Youth Congress for this dialogue. It is really good. I believe and hope it is going to shape many lives, and I believe it is going to change many mindsets as we step out of that door. Because we are already behind time, let me not talk beyond how I have talked. I can talk, so let me not talk more than this. Thank you very
much. DJ, Ma'am, I have a honor to here and there. Thank you very much. As we are delivering the message of support, may we please try as much as possible to be brief and precise, because we have the chief guests who will be addressing us. So, having said that, I would like to call the representative of the SRC, the Student Representative Council, and I can see the Honorable Minister of Finance, Mr. 𝗟𝗘𝗦𝗦. Mr. Adoro is a second year and graduating candidate who is completing in Master of Arts in Agricultural or Master of Science. Oh, it's important, science. Master of Science in Agricultural Economics here at the National University of Lesotho. And he is the member of various organizations in the country, being political and civil organizations. He is a member of Revolution for Prosperity. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, the program director. All protocol observed, but first and foremost, I would like to pass my sincere greetings to the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, members of the Parliament, and you, my fellow comrades. Na kisikwile venkibina tutadwo mani osale kokoma madiboko. Atulizilo mudinkaraba. Obani namohlangi tsolo ngwane muthu na matsalo na politika le silo bohlokwa go khale ke pepisa le moitsi. Wana go habana tsa go bona bane ke matsatsi ana ba go isu ntsi bumpo ya ba myantswana ngwane no a ke batla le ha le mobe. A holele ka ga bana ba nna ke tswaletse mmuso se kwang go itla makana ata thiba kana bothading ntwena ke kanono ya dira ntwena ke commandant I am the product of the masses, my country am the product of the enemy, I am the barrel of the rifle. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, my name is 𝗟𝗘𝗦𝗦. I am the outgoing Minister of Finance in the National University of Lesotho Student Representative Council. By so saying, ladies and gentlemen, it is the great pleasure to stand before you today in this momentous occasion. Africa Youth Congress. What I am going to say today, it is going to challenge all youth from all sectors of Africa. In Africa, we know our problems. Also, we know our solutions. But what is lacking is the implementation. We know how to organize the conferences, we know how to organize the summits. But what is lacking is the implementation. Why can't we pinpoint at least one problem and one solution and then implement it as youth? Why can't we do that? because we know our problems, also we know our solutions. Each and every day, Africa is being hijacked by other continents. Our minerals, our resources, but still we are doing nothing. We are good at organizing, but we fail when it comes to implementation. I think today we can plant a seed that will germinate over the years. I can only see the leaders, not the followers in here. What are we doing to change lives? Leadership is all about the influence. It's all about the impact we are bringing to our followers. Remember that each and every day, on your shoulders, you are carrying the flag of Africa. But the biggest question is that, what are you doing to change the lives? How many lives have you saved? How many lives have you changed? I think it is very important to note that today we have to pinpoint one problem and one solution, and then we implement it jointly as the youth of Africa, rather than organizing the summits and conferences and then doing nothing. By so saying that, ladies and gentlemen, pelo ya ka e keta ho thitsea ha ke fihla ka mona, media se o ka hopola, I've been communicating with one of the SACC members from Botswana University by 𝗬𝗢𝗦𝗎𝗓𝗔𝗡 games. Ntate saneng ke mo kgathatsa ka dilemo ka hore ho butiswa 𝗬𝗢𝗦𝗎𝗓𝗔𝗡 games from University of Botswana ke Ntate Topokwena. Here it is. Sorry, I would like to say thank you very much for this opportunity. National University of Lesotho. Lesotho mona ke lefatshe la kgotso re kopa le natifele mona mingle and share the contacts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the outgoing Minister of Finance, for the words of wisdom that you have just shared, meaning that from this seminar, we now know that after organizing the conferences of this nature, after coming up with the solutions, now we have to go and influence that they have to be implemented. And you have said an important note that as leaders, what change, what impact did we do to save people's lives? Everyone will answer for him or herself. Having said that, I would like to call the representative to share the message of support for encouraging MEC, which is Movement for Economic Change. I'm advised that it will be Mr. 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗛. 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗛 is also a young man who is a counselor at Berea. As we are singing this song that the youth must take the leadership positions, and Mr. 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗛 is a counselor. He's a member of local council. He is an active member. I'm sure a few weeks ago you have seen them going to the National Assembly, going to the Prime Minister, discussing issues that are affecting the members of local councils, because we directly report to them and we leave them in our communities. So this is a challenge for us. As youth, we should go to our places and we should not say, those are for people in the villages, we are educated. So that's where the implementation happens. So go and be members of the local council. Mr. 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛, may you get the platform.
And on your table, I'm not sure. I'll speak English, but at forums like this, I like speaking very much in my language. So, let me greet you all. My name is 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛. As Mr. 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛 have said, I'm a young person. So basically, I'm 29 years, like I said, and I'm a ward councillor. When I got voted for there at my ED electoral division and my constituency was 26. Yeah. So basically, at least there is positive energy in the room.
Yeah.
Because when I was seated there upon arrival, I had some doubts. When Mr. 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛 was passing his protocol, I said, I took an oath. So I took an oath.
Yeah.
So I felt a little bit not organized. Because the coordinator said very important words that 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛 is the youth, we need to occupy our space. That's what she said. And she said, in order to occupy our space, we must, she said we must unite. She used the word unity. So let me not go any further and say, having said that, all protocol observed, Deputy Speaker, I recognize you, and the rest, and the 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛, I see you 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛, and the colleagues on the table. So also the management of the university and the rest of you. I'm very excited because the one I'm messing with, yes, let me say it. She's also one young person that is very, very, very hardworking and vibrant in the business sector. So my message of support is nonetheless that the theme for, I realize that we are invited by the African National Youth Congress and the Lesotho chapter. So basically, the coordinator said very supportive and strong words as to why we are here, and that this is the first chapter of this movement. And basically, they're echoing, we should take up our space. When she asked the question about the SDGs, I was just on them on my cell phone checking just the few words that I'm going to say, and I checked on the African Union website also, and African Union website in what we call the Africa Development. It's called the socio-economic development priorities, and there is what is called the continental development priorities in Africa. So inside the continental development priorities, there is a gauge on the website that has been used them back. That gauge has various sectors under it. It has health, industrialization, education, but I chose to go to governance. There is a point there on the website first page where there is governance, and the gauge for governance in Africa is 29%. The gauge for health is around 74%. The governance is 29%. That's how bad we are in governance in Africa. Is the gauge that the African Union uses to assess growth, to assess development in Africa under the various sectors that I've mentioned, such as education and science, technology, and innovation, and others. So, however, we are at 29%. Lona as young people, I'm an engineer from the University of Johannesburg, and I'm a top student of UJ. So I was doing my electrical engineering degree there. I went to Machadem College to do my international baccalaureate diploma. So let me tell you, I sacrificed the job to go and be a councillor. I was called, offered a job position, but I said not yet, because I realized as young people we have to go and lead. So you can think of it, and I said, if I can get this time to say I'll be back, let me go and help my society. Let me go and help our people, Basotho, because I've been in the civil society for a very long time, 10 years plus, and in the civil society as the young people, basically, I've along with some of the comrades in here, I've started 𝗤𝗙𝗦𝗦 and others. A lot of movements, organizations in South Africa, in Lesotho. I was at university there. And I'll tell you one thing, I realized already, until we go as the young people and go and lead, and until we go and be councillors, until we go and be the mayor, until you go and be a member of parliament, you won't get solutions for your problems. I'm telling you guys today. And it has to go as deep as sacrificing yourself. Hasn't you managed that an engineer, you know, offered positions, but you say, thank you. I saw the gap. So all I'm saying to you, my message of support, 𝗤𝗙𝗦𝗧𝗛, is, please, the coordinator, I'll keep on referring back to her, that's how she was here. She said, 2028, she wants to see 40%. The National Youth Policy 2017 to 2030 of Lesotho talks about youth inclusion, a minimum of 30%. I know there is a mayor treasurer here said some words that there should be women inclusion, at least in the PR system of the Parliament of Lesotho, and even at local level. Women are included in the PR proportional representation. So the youth and in general, not just women and men, at least the youth policy calls for 30%. Remember, said, I know you are very powerful and you hold a strategic position. I don't have to. We have fought and we have seen youth fighting for this inclusion. We have had movements, we have had associations where we have called for advocacy. So just like the 𝗟𝗙𝗦𝗦 has also said, I'm the Secretary General of the Lesotho National Councillors Committee. So I'm a councillor. We are fighting for decentralization and all these other issues. And whatever that you're talking about right now, underfalls or such issues, youth inclusion. So let me not go any further. We have had what's called the Lesotho National Reforms, whereby I was also a panelist. I was a resource person for the reforms of Lesotho in some of their forums. And we have addressed issues like this ones that are putting us here. We have parliamentary reforms. We have all these sorts of points that were raised in there. Please, let us go and participate. Let us sacrifice ourselves. And having said this, thank you very much to our compatriots from Botswana and the other countries as well that are here. And we are more than ready at all sectors to join hands and unite. Then we can see this is the Lesotho what, as it was said in the National Youth, in the National Reforms Authority. Thank you very much.
You are welcomed, Mr. Leboto. You are also a member of 𝗤𝗙𝗦𝗧𝗛 Shutdown, if you would recall it. 𝗤𝗙𝗧 Shutdown. So, like he did mention that he was a member of various associations and clubs. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, like I highlighted, that we have the leaders of academic associations in our midst. I would like to call one representative, which is Mr. 𝗤𝗙𝗦𝗧𝗛. Mr. 𝗤𝗙𝗦𝗧𝗛 is a third-year law student who is disciplined and ambitious in nature. And also he is the vice president of litigation club, who actively holds his advocacy, and which were notably showcased when adjudicating high school moot court competitions. 𝗤𝗙𝗦𝗧𝗛 is dedicated to his legal studies and is committed to making a significant impact in the field of law. Mr. 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗛, over to you.
Thank you, Program Director. As Mr. 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛 has mentioned, my names are 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛, and I am a third-year LLB student, and also the Vice President of Litigation Club, representing all academic associations at the National University of Lesotho. I would like to affirm that the youth for today, which is African Youth Engagement Sustainable Development, it is the defining mission of our time. And as the youth of today, we actually, and in fact, we must, as the youth of today, we must reject the passive label that we are the future leaders of tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to reject that. What we are supposed to do is that we need to embrace our role as the innovators, as the drive changers of today. Our universities, they are not just places for study, but they are the laboratories of solving the African challenges, from the legal frameworks governing environmental protection to engineering sustainable economic models. For our engagement to be meaningful, we need more than recognition. We require partnership, the resources, the mentorship, and platforms to translate our academic knowledge into tangible, large-scale projects. Let us leverage the collective power within these higher learning institutions to forge an unstoppable alliance that moves beyond discussion and delivers true, equitable, lasting, sustainable development for Lesotho and the African continent. Ladies and gentlemen, we have skills, but we do not have mentors, we do not have partnerships. We are not being recognized. All we want is we need the recognition because we have skills and we can innovate. So ladies and gentlemen, it's a high time that we make our voices heard. Let's stand our crowd and stop, in fact, reject the passive label, we are the futures of tomorrow, because we have to start today. We have to be innovators from now on. If not us, then who? Thank you.
If not us, then who? Thank you very much, Mr. 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛, the Vice President of Litigation Club, for those words on behalf of all academic associations at the National University of Lesotho. At this juncture, I would like to call a representative of the two organizations. It will be Youth Home Lesotho and YALI. So it's none other than Mr. 𝗟𝗘𝗦𝗦𝗢𝗓. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. 𝗟𝗘𝗦𝗦𝗢𝗧 is a former student of the National University of Lesotho and a former, one of the longest serving presidents, president of the Student Representative Council of the National University of Lesotho, SRC. He completed his bachelor's degree in education. He's also a member of Lesotho National Youth Delegate to Commonwealth Youth Council. He's also a member of several organizations. He has also created other organizations that are to voice out the voices of the voiceless, the voices of youth. Mr. 𝗟𝗪𝗦𝗦𝗢𝗧, he was my president when it was my first time to be in the SRC. He was my president, Your Excellency, sir. I used to want him like that in the cabinet.
Thank you very much, for the program director. It's good to be standing at the National Institute again. Like as mentioned, I've been here for the past, I think, 9 years now. So allow me to pay my respect to the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, the Honorable MP, the distinguished guests, the management of the university, the Vice Chancellor, the PVC, the Registrar, the Bursar, the Librarian, the Deans and Directors, particularly the Director of Student Affairs, the Student Advocate Council, the outgoing Honorable Ministers. Yes, I know I've served with you in my days. My name is 𝗤𝗙𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗔𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗔. I'm not going to talk about a lot of organizations that I represent. I work for an organization that is called 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛. I work for it. I'm the founder of the organization, but I'm not leading it. Because my goal is to empower young people. It's my time to be led now. So they are my leaders in here. The Director of Law, she's sitting over there. The Director, the Vice Chairperson for the 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛 chapter. Our organization is found in all 10 districts of Lesotho. So we are implementing on the ground. So there are young people in each and every district who are leading our implementation on the ground. I'm representing our beloved country at the National Youth Council, in fact at the Commonwealth Youth Council, until 2026. So my message will be quite small, or quite short, but I want to talk to each and every one of you as I encourage young people to venture into leadership. The African Youth Congress, when I first heard about it, it was from the comrade Brian. I met him in Zambia in one of his years, so I trust in his leadership. So I knew that if there is an African Youth Congress, it should be one of those organizations that implements and drive youth empowerment and leadership across the continent. So when I'm looking at the film, one thing that I can caution out of you is to unite with all youth ecosystems, being it at the continental level, at the regional level, and even at the national level. You know, at the continental level, we have the Pan-African Youth Union. They are very much key players in the youth development across the continent. In the region, we have SAYOF, South African Youth Forum. So these all youth ecosystems, we are talking about unity. So when we are united, the Commonwealth Youth Council that I represent, when we are united, we can bring about the change that we aspire to have. Even in Lesotho, there's so many young people's movements, so many youth organizations. We are implementing in silos. But if you can firstly unite, the Honorable Minister of Finance talked about having one goal that we want to achieve. It's our time to stop talking about what we aspire to have, but to take an action to do. My organization, the Youth Home Lesotho, we are actually working on youth participation in democracy. We envision young people leading and participating effectively in democracy. So, along this week, we are still working in marketing in your district. I'll be in Tawanamagana tomorrow. What we are saying is that young people, you are not participating. Where are you? You are not interested in participating in the national affairs. When are you going to take the stand? So where do we begin? One, we have a dream. You have a dream. I'm talking to leaders today. You want to lead. That is the first step. The second one, how do you implement now? Mobilization. You can't lead without mobilizing other organizations, other young people, to have a common ground. You mobilize on the ground. As I'm looking at you today, what is it that you envision out of youth leadership? Our country is actually heading backwards. We don't even have the National Youth Council in Lesotho. I think we are amongst few countries that still doesn't have the National Youth Council. What are we saying about it? Do you want to participate in the National Assembly? If you look at the Electoral Elections Act of 2011, it doesn't say anything about the inclusion of young people in the awarding of PR seats. Where do you want to go? As you step out of this room, out of this dialogue, as now we are going to work as a team, what is it that we want to achieve? So, I would ask for you, the African Youth Congress, let us draft a strategic plan together that includes all the stakeholders, all these youth ecosystems, organizations that are present today. Let's have one goal. Let's set the specific time frames and what we want to achieve as we move forward. We start at the country level, at a continental level, and then we can transform our continent. We are the youth, we are the leaders of today. No one is going to rescue us. No one. You are capable. I can tell you that, you are capable. So thank you very much, the African Youth Congress for bringing us together today. Let us engage, let us connect. Connection is one of the fundamental principles or fundamental keys to our liberation. If we don't move as a whole, we can accomplish anything. So let us do that. Lastly, I heard that we have the leaders of the students. That's where leadership is born. If you look at the people who are governing our country, if you can check their background, you'll see that they were the members of SRCs. They led the students. Don't take that slightly. That's where leaders are born. And most importantly, you are the lead. You don't just lead without a sense of leadership. You are the lead. When you lead the students, don't take that slightly. So lead with caution, be principled, have values, and most importantly, have policies that are tangible. We need to see something when you leave the office, no matter how small the office is, then we can trust in the leadership. When I was moving around the Mafeking district this week, young people told me that they don't even trust themselves because there's nothing that they see amongst ourselves. We don't even support each other. But I know, when I'm looking at you today, leaders are here. And I'm very much confident that in our unity, we can accomplish a thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Makati. I was just saying, it's almost time out. But now I remember that we were sitting with him in the cabinet, and I couldn't stop him because of that. Thank you very much. And we are now about to go to our guests, the international guests, and our members of parliament, and the Honorable Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. But before that, the message of support, will we be please brief and precise from SR. I'm advised that it is socialist for revolutionary.
No, not for.
Oh, socialist revolutionary.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear that they are the revolutionaries in their lifetime. The representative, may you approach me, may you please introduce yourself.
Kotsombo Melbourne Tafel Nabacha. Kalibizo ki Tadimelefe. Ki emo mwa bacha basa le khotleng la kanana eleng SR. Kale kajeno re bengwe ke Africa Youth Congress Lesotho to share hore na rona re le ba lekgotla la kana re reng ka the Sustainable Development Goals. A country like Lesotho, which studies shows a youth bulge, can either use that as a democratic dividend or democratic boom. Sustainable Development Goals, in particular Goal 16, talks about sustainable partnership with specific targets on putting the youth within the mainstream of achieving sustainable development. Putting the youth within the mainstream of any development efforts requires a deliberate and well-thought process. It is not possible that any meaningful participation of the youth can be realized without putting in place legally recognizable youth institutions. Such institutions include Youth National Council, which in nature must also have legislative powers on any youth-related matters. We need to take up space. We have the skills, the ability, and the knowledge to do whatever we can to become the future leaders. Rona re le bakanana ya Basotho le SR. Re dumela re tiile hore batjha ba Lesotho ba lokela ho fuwa dihlomo tse latelang hore ba nke karolo e tona haholo ho fihlela dipehelo tsa moshwelella tsa ntlafatso. Batjha ba fuwe dihlomo tsa thuto hodima Batjha ba fuwe dihlomo tsa thuto hodima Sustainable Development Goals e le hore ba tle ba tsebe mathata le diqholotso tse tobaneng le lefatshe leo naha ya bo bona e leng karolo ya lona. Bonyane karolo e ka hodimo ho 40% e leng 40% ya setjhaba sa lefatshe ke batjha. Le Lesotho mona ho jwalo feela ka hona ho fenya diqholotso tsa lefatshe le naha ya habo bona re le batjha re lokela ho tseba na lefatshe le naha ya habo rona e tobane le diqholotso tsa mofuta ofeng hobane ebile e le setjhaba sa kamoso sa baetapele. Ho a hlaka boemong bona hore dikolo tsa thuto e phahameng e leng the universities di ba bohlokwa haholo ho ruta batjha ka Sustainable Development Goals. Batjha ba lokela ho ahelwa mabotja a marangrang ao hona ba ka fumanang dintlha tsohle tsa the Sustainable Development Goals e le hore ba tle ba ithute le tsela eo ba ka bang le seabo le ho kenya tshebetso. Naha ya rona ka kopanelo le dikolo tsa thuto e phahameng e lokela ho theha a joint Sustainable Development Joint Fund jwalo ka ha mmoka e mmalwa ya matjhaba le Afrika e se ile ya eletsa hore seabo sa batjha se akofiswe. Tsena tsohle di ka ba bobebe ha batjha ba Lesotho ka mekgahlelo yohle ya bona bana le parlamente ya bona moo ba ka tsebang le ho buisana le ho thakelana malebela e leng a National Youth Council. Ke a leboha.
Thank you very much, Esa, for that powerful message of support to the Africa Youth Congress, Lesotho chapter, and the continent at large. Because, like we said in our midst, we have the chair in the continent and the coordinator for Botswana chapter. The last message of support will be from Leadership of Change. I'm giving the name of 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗛. Please come to the podium.
Leaders of Change Initiatives on Community Development. Leaders of Change Initiatives ke mokgatlo o theilweng ka 2022 by environmental health and safety practitioners. Apart from that, di-skill tsa rona tse re di sebedisang ga bona gore na re kgona gore re di linke jang le di-sustainable development goals. And so we are the proud United Nations volunteers. The intention of Leaders of Change is to safeguard and improve the health and well-being of people in communities. And apart from that, we passionate haholo ka SDG 3, eleng ditaba tse amanang le good health and well-being. We are proud mental health advocates. And we are really thankful today by young women of Africa, young women of Africa for inviting us here today. Kaniti, I apologize. Next time, and so all I want to say is that as the youth, it is important to raise our voices and to share our ideas and to take bold steps towards a future where no one is left behind. The Sustainable Development Goals, D17, and so the Sustainable Development Goals are focusing on no poverty, ending hunger. No poverty ke SDG 1 and ending hunger ke SDG 2, and so they go hand in hand. And kahare ho initiative ye no ya di SDG tseo re sentse re na le initiative re sentse re etsa e bitswang grow your own foods. Ebe re se re ya ho SDG 3 e leng good health and well-being. Ke mona mo re welang ka tlasa ditaba tsenana tsa kelello e ntle e leng ditaba tsa mental health advocacy. And apart from that, we are advocates for SDG 4. SDG 4 is sebetsana le quality education, and we also advocate for ditaba tsa gender equality in SDG 5. SDG 5 e bua fela hore there has to be inclusion. We also have partnered up le mekgatlo e amanang le ditaba tsa LGBTQ, which is mokgatlo o bitswang Unlocking Love. We ensure hore between men and women there is inclusive gender equality. And apart from that, we advocate for ditaba tsa a sustainable community, and also SDG 13 and also SDG 17 in ditaba tsa partnership for the goals. And that is how we were actually invited through ditaba tsena tsa partnership for the goals by Young Women of Africa. And so okay. We are really, really thankful, and I just want to send my greetings to all the honorables battling today, and also the now management team. We are really, really thankful. We are open to collaborations. If anyone has anything around ditaba tsa advocacy, there's my seat. And yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛, for the wonderful presentation from Leaders of Change. So now we are shifting and we are going to the high table. The moment we have been waiting for. The moment that we have been waiting for. However, I will just read the message that is from Zambia coordinator. They were supposed to be here, but unfortunately they had other unavoidable commitments. So they did write the message of support here. To the African Youth Congress Lesotho chapter, keep shining. Your dedication to empowering youth and driving positive change is truly inspiring. Continue fostering meaningful conversations, amplifying voices, and mobilizing actions. Your work matters. Keep pushing boundaries, challenging norms, and shaping a brighter future for Lesotho and Africa. You are making a difference. May your passion, energy, and commitment continue to inspire others and spark meaningful change. Together, let's build a brighter, more inclusive future for all. Keep up the fantastic work. Special appreciation to Honorable 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗚𝗖𝗔𝗡, the Continental Chair from Zimbabwe, Chairman of Africa Youth Congress, for his exceptional leadership and unwavering support towards young people. Your guidance and vision are invaluable assets to the organization and to the youth it deserves. May your collective efforts continue to break barriers, foster unity, and drive progress. Keep igniting hope and empowering communities. With regards, 𝗤𝗢𝗔𝗡𝗟, Africa Youth Congress, Zambia Chapter Coordinator. So those are the words from Zambia, and we indeed accept that, and we are grateful as Lesotho chapter. So this organization is across the continent. So, ladies and gentlemen, you will therefore understand and hear the responsibility that this organization carries, the impact that this organization wants to make in Africa. Having said that, I'm about to call honorable. When you are the coordinator, you are honorable. And I will also include advocate, because very soon you'll be receiving his LLB in University of Botswana, who is advocate 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗚𝗖𝗓. He is the member, he is African Youth Congress Botswana coordinator. He is also a member of the Youth League for Alliance for Progressive Youth League. He is the president for 3 contracting parties forming the UDC, which is the Botswana government currently. He is also the president of the SRC for the University of Botswana, our sister university. Honorable Kwela, over to you, sir.
Hi, my thank you, Program Director. Let me recognize the Deputy Speaker of the National Parliament of Lesotho, a Member of Parliament, Honorable Chair of the African Youth Congress Continental Level, Honorable Chair, African Youth Congress, Lesotho Chapter, all the directors, deans, and most importantly, our guests, which are you. I don't know if I call you guys our guests, because in Lesotho, I feel at home. There's no difference here. So we speak the same language. And if you know the history of this university, in connection with my university and the University of Swaziland, it used to be called 𝗤𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛. And we used to be very close, and we worked hand in hand. And I'll have to apologize sincerely to Mr. Dorothy. I'm 2-time SRC president now. I'm a former vice president. And when he reached out to me, I think it was 3 years ago, my brother, I was still vice president, and I failed you, but we will correct. Because I can assure you, last week we had a conversation with the president of Swaziland and our vice chancellor, and the minister of sports and recreation in our country fully endorses what you have started. So I thank you for that. When I entered this university, I felt a feeling of nostalgia. That is the correct word. Because I am used to addressing my students, and now as I see you now, I see, no, these are the same faces. I don't know. Let me recognize and thank those who gave a message of solidarity, notably you, Honorable Councillor, former SRC President there. As you spoke, I could hear clarity, could hear vindication, could hear purpose. It is what Roosevelt once said, and usually what my president, Advocate 𝗤𝗙𝗦𝗢𝗪, usually denotes as you are the man in the arena. You are purposefully driving towards solving issues that are pertinent to us as youth. We thank you, we appreciate you immensely and deeply. I come here at a time where we as Africans, as youth, we are majority population. We constitute what we call the majority, but it is still us who face the majority of our diversity. And I don't know if it is us we could put blame on and say we lack responsibility, which is something I sincerely advocate against. It is not we as the youth. But however, I will not dwell much on what we as AUIC intend to do. I will allow the chairman to come and elaborate more. I will speak to 3 issues. 1, our responsibility as youth. 2, the government's responsibility towards the youth. And then 3, unity, the need to break these barriers and build bridges. These barriers we call borders, and build bridges. As he has already alluded, one of those bridges is intervarsity games for national integration, regional integration as SADC region. So first and foremost, one may wonder, what are the pertinent issues that we as the youth face? Now my notepad is giving me problems. This technology thing. I'm getting old. Right. Yes. Our topic of the day is sustainable development, right? And that is a very key topic because we as countries, especially SADC countries, we are regarded as developing countries, right? But it cannot be sustainable if there is no youth involved. I hear some here and are saying we are the future. We are not the future. We are the leaders of today. Yeah. We are not the leaders of tomorrow. Because who can build our future if not us? He asked, if not now, when? If not us, then who? That is another question we need to ask ourselves. When we speak of us as the youth, we are what? A human resource to our countries. You see, a speaker here came and spoke of minerals being taken, which is very true. Our leave chairman is good at elaborating on those. He will elaborate on that. I'll take this opportunity because the deputy speaker of the national parliament is here. Yeah. And tell her this, Honorable. There is no resource in Lesotho more important than the people of Lesotho. I say this because I come from a country rich in diamonds, a country that we are very privileged. We are paid to go to school. That is how Botswana is. But now, we have had a slump in diamond sales. And because we have not industrialized enough and we had our whole economy was banking on one commodity, being those diamonds that we were mining, the country is facing economic turmoil. Now, had the leaders before us been smart, I'll say that, they would understand that the true diamond is not the resources. The true diamond is the young people. And I would like to applaud our president, Advocate 𝗤𝗙𝗦𝗢𝗪, to say we are now switching from diamond mines to diamond mines. And those diamond mines are we as the young people. That is something that the government needs to do. It needs to empower, it needs to employ, it needs to give us a chance, because we want to be part and partake in the decision making of our countries. It is common knowledge that from time to time, national decisions that are usually made that directly affect our lives, that are made in silos, and we are not part and parcel of them. We are just distant, what can I say, receivers, wherever we may be, however they directly impact us. So we as young people, I implore upon you all, the time is now. We need to take up space, like someone has said here. I am a 3-time UBSRC president. I'm a youth league president of the current ruling party. I'm also a senior administrator for a member of parliament who's also a minister. But it was tough. I hold all these positions because maybe I'm arrogant towards position seeking, or maybe I'm pompous. I like positions. But this is the tone that I want each and every leader here to take. And this is the direction that we need to take. We have a young councillor there, 29 years of age. I would expect him to know the adversities and predicaments I face. And if there is any development that can be made going into the future, I would expect him to represent them more than any 60-year-old in parliament. He understands the adversities, he understands my predicament. So, Honorable, we thank you for that. And please continue nurturing and helping the young ones. To you, the students whom I usually address, there is no successful revolution or change that has ever happened without the involvement of students. Never. Not even one. That is why you have days like June 16. Recently, the Kenyans took it upon the street that those were young people. And right now, you can see the country of Burkina Faso led by Traore. He's a young person. Look at what he's doing. So you as the students, you need to know, you are the leaders of now. Take it upon yourself, make it an initiative to strive to change your country. No one will change Lesotho. There's no use. I know mostly in Botswana, I studied to try and get a scholarship and run away from these problems. Who will fix your country if not yourselves? So stay here and read. Aspire to be the change you want to see, and be it by implementing those change, by occupying positions. And my sister, I want to see you next year as the Deputy Speaker of the He did not shy away from taking up their space. We are young people, it is our time now. Yeah. And we are the bright diamonds that this country, I know you also have a diamond mine. Yeah. You are the diamonds of this country. So let me allow my chair here to come and allude more. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable 𝗤𝗢𝗓, for those powerful, meaningful words of wisdom that we have just shared here with us. We are indeed thankful. And as young leaders, leaders of today, not tomorrow, not future leaders, let us carry these words. Let us go and implement, not only to suggest, but also implement. Let us go and be the influence in the policy decision making, more especially which affects us as young people, because there is nothing for youth without the youth. That I can assure you. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, the moment that we have been waiting for, it has come. So at this juncture, I am going to call our chair, the continental chair, who is Honorable 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗔 from the Republic of Zimbabwe. Is the continental chair, the African continent. So these positions are rotating. We go for the elections as the continent. So you can therefore understand how the participation is. All these African countries will be participating. They will go there and elect the executive for the continent. So you will therefore understand our chair now from Zimbabwe. So the biography for Mr. Chair, I won't say much because he will share with us other, because he has so many responsibilities. But in short, he is the African Youth Congress chairman. He is also the ZANU-PF Youth League Deputy National Political Commissar. The ZANU-PF is the governing party in the Republic of Zimbabwe. Honorable Chair, the platform is yours.
Thank you so much, Director of Ceremony. Madam Speaker of Parliament, obviously I know they call you Deputy, but you are the Speaker of Parliament. Honorable Member of Parliament, Country Coordinator for Lesotho, my fellow comrade and sister, Director from the management of the university, all organizations hereby represented, not forgetting my brother from Botswana, Comrade Topo, the president of the Youth League in Botswana. So when we talk of political party positions, if my part is to meet with his party, I will be junior to him. So I had to find ways of also making him my junior. So reciprocate respect. So today is my junior. Up until we meet as political parties, but I won't be there. My brother, the Secretary, Minister of Entertainment, Education. I also recognize the SRC member, Secretary of Finance, and most importantly, you comrades and friends gathered here. I don't have much to discuss with you because I feel you know what you want. The other comrades say, if it's not now, then when? If it's not here, then where? If it's not us, then who? So speech after speech, you were trying to encourage each other, challenging each other. But the question that remained in my mind is, what's the way forward? I appreciate and recognize the fact that you all know the problems that we are facing. The challenges you know. What is the solution? Speaker after the other, you challenge each other to be the solution. But let me tell you this, we are the solution. I beg to differ, Madam Speaker, when young persons are saying they do not have space. The space is there. But in the absence of truth, lie becomes truth. What is it that you are doing as young persons to claim the available space? Because if you don't claim it, you will tell yourself there's no space. The fact that the government of Lesotho permits you to gather as young persons to discuss youth-related issues, it's a clear sign that the space is there. What we need to discuss is how best can we occupy and make sure we become effective. Leadership is not about occupying positions. There's what is called a leadership without title. Leadership is about coming up with initiatives that helps the next person in that way you become a leader yourself. If maybe you think becoming a councillor, becoming a member of parliament, a minister, is what defines leadership, because we have a number of members of parliament world over who are not leaders. We have councillors who are not leaders. We have people with titles, but they lack the capacity to lead. Because when we talk of leadership, it's about transforming lives around you. But we need to self-introspect. We know the problems that we have. The main problem is that we complain too much more than we proffer solutions. We have become a generation of activists who believe in conferences, as my brother said, summits. A generation that believes in demanding food without thinking of how best we can produce our own food. If we want to overcome the present day challenges, we must do away with the dependence syndrome. I was reading the Bible previous night and I read about a man called Gideon. Not your president. God appointed him a commander, for they were going for war. And he mobilized for people, soldiers. There were too many. God said to him, you must drop the other number. The reason was that if they were to win in bigger numbers, then they could think they've won because they are many. God needed a small number to work with. So I'm happy to be addressing a reasonable number because I know there is interaction. I will not celebrate when you invite me to address 50,000 people, because this is not about numbers, this is about effectiveness. I always tell people that a bigger clock on the wall can be corrected by a smaller one in the hands. This is to say, Madam Speaker, this is the most important gathering I have ever addressed, because I know there's interaction. If one person can change a situation, imagine 20, imagine 30. So let's start the discussion. I enjoy interaction, young people. What do you think is your problem? When you're at school, you learn problem identification. What do you think is your problem? Yes, madam.
I think as the youth, we have a problem of, like it was mentioned, taking up space. We tend to be more focused on lives ourselves. We focus more on what am I doing for me, and I'm going to school to do this and get money for me. And we're not more informed about what is happening in our communities and in our surroundings. What are we doing to change not only our lives, but the lives of the people around us? So I think that is where we get it wrong. We work for ourselves, but we don't work for the people. We don't work for the country. We don't work for the continent. We work for the success of ourselves.
Okay, thank you. And what's your problem as an individual?
I think for me is the lack of ability to believe that I can make a positive change. Yes.
You lack confidence in yourself.
Yes.
That is the real problem. The first one is not. My next sister there.
I believe that the problem comes where we appreciate and acknowledge the difficulties and challenges that we face in our community. We have these innovative and bright ideas of how to bring about change, of how to implement change. However, we fail in taking action. Like she said, we lack confidence. We have this perception at the back of our minds that when we act, what is who and who going to say? We believe that it is upon our government to give us our seats, while in actual fact, we have to claim our seats because they're not given to us.
Okay. And remove we and say I.
I'm teaching my seat, but it's not given to me.
You see the main problem that we have when you are writing your CV, there is something that is called SWOT analysis. If you are to ask me what to study, I will tell you yourself. You need to know yourself, your strength and your weaknesses. The next person must also do the same. This is how we can come together. Like today, we have an opportunity of hosting the Speaker of Parliament. If I were to ask 3 people from you to raise maybe your complaints or your concerns to the Speaker of Parliament here, it is a privilege to be this close with the Parliament, because this is where laws and policies are made. What would you tell Madam Speaker? 3 people. Assuming you just met her in a lift going up, and it takes not more than 33 seconds to be with Madam Speaker, what will you tell her so that she gives you an appointment? Well, there are certain people, if you give them a chance, you don't want to see them again. And there are certain people, you give them half chance. It's the Speaker of Parliament who will then book an appointment with you. Here we are with the Speaker of Parliament. What do you have to tell her? We are in a lift, it's going up. Maybe she's going to the 4th floor and you are going to the 2nd floor. The lift is starting, my brother.
Thank you very much. I was it's lovely because she knows what I'm going to say.
Decentralized.
I would literally ask for a platform to discuss youth inclusion in governance or in Lesotho.
So what exactly? What exactly do you want to discuss?
Exactly to implement the national youth policy of Lesotho, which has been going on for so many years, without any implementation from 2017.
Okay, thank you. I want to believe the majority of the citizens of Lesotho are young persons. Am I correct?
Yes.
And I also want to believe that members of parliament in Lesotho are elected via an election. Am I correct to suggest that? Very good. Let's assume 62% of the citizens of Lesotho are young persons. Am I correct?
Yes.
It means that at every social gathering, assumably, the majority will be young persons. Okay? It is my assumption that when political parties call for their rallies, majority of the attendants are young persons. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Very good. Is it also true that majority of the electorate of Lesotho are young persons?
No. Yes, true.
Let's discuss about that.
True.
Let's discuss about that. You want to get yourselves involved in parliament. For you to go to parliament, it's through an election. You are the majority population in Lesotho, but you are not the majority of the electorate. Why?
The problem we have with young people is that we do not have political consciousness. We do not care.
Thank you. The next person.
Yes,
what did you say?
Similar to that we not participate in the primary politics.
Let's agree that the problem is not with our elders, but with us. It's a starting point. Madam Speaker, I need lunch for that. Yes. So, do we all agree that the problem is not with the Madam Speaker or with the Prime Minister or with the King, but with the young persons?
Yes.
How many of you have participated in the online polls where you are voting for models, for musicians and stuff? A number of you. And if I'm to ask you about Beyonce, you know the ex-boyfriend, the current, the name of the dog, type of car, type of cell phone. Okay? The first question, Madam Coordinator. We all agree that youth are the majority of the population of Lesotho. But when it comes to electorate, we also agree that youths are not the majority on the voters roll of Lesotho. What's needed for one to be a registered voter? What do you need in Lesotho to be a registered voter? National ID. How many of you in here are registered voters? So we agree that majority of the people here are registered voters. Okay? To those who are not yet registered to vote, what's the problem? If one of you can give us the reason.
Well, I'm registered to vote, but it took a while, so I would say maybe the reason I was hesitant to register was because, well, lack of belief that my vote hardly makes any difference.
Okay, you see? And then if you don't believe that your vote can make a difference, what makes you think your voice can? Because you want those who were elected by others to listen to what you are saying. In my country there, over time we have had allegations of vote rigging. You know, the ruling party has what was the rigged elections, and the person who is saying that is not a registered voter. So you support your political party by clapping hands. On the day of elections, you are not voting because you don't appear in the voters' roll. After the elections, you hear them saying, but during rallies, we're filling stadiums. So where did our votes go? Did you fill stadiums with the registered voters or with people? You see where the challenge is? But if we are to go and make a survey of those, our parents, you may find out that out of 20, maybe 19 are registered voters. We do the survey on the youth side, out of 20, maybe 10 or 5. So the problem is, you know, from diamond mines to diamond mines. Okay? So my brother, you need to register to vote. If you cannot wait for 4 hours to cast your vote, or maybe 3 hours, if 3 hours is long, but you know, you can watch a series from 1 to 20, each episode with 45 minutes. And if you say 45 times 10 episodes, how long is that? You see, but now 2 hours is long for you. Becomes a problem. And for those who are registered to vote, how many of you can raise your hands? The registered voters, those who are in the Lesotho voters roll. How many of you participated in the voting, maybe the previous election? All of you.
No.
How many?
Hands.
No, raise your hands up. I want to see your hands of all registered voters. Those who didn't vote, those who voted, put your hands down. Those who voted. Okay. So 2 of you didn't vote. Why didn't you vote?
I didn't vote because, like he said, I believe my vote makes no difference. So I don't believe it will add any difference. Yes.
And why didn't you vote?
Well, I chose not to because of my parents. They were forcing me into voting for something.
Okay, thank you. Madam Speaker, you see the problem that we have. Do you understand the voting process? Maybe it's different from in our country. It's a secret ballot.
Yeah.
You get me? I can attend the political rally for Comrade and I'm wearing regalia. He can even give to me transport money to go and vote, including lunch money. Okay, he can even carry me with his car to the polling station. But when I enter the polling station, the ballot paper is given to me by myself. Last time in Zimbabwe, a man with 7 wives and 12 kids, which is 19, got 1 vote. He voted for himself. Even the wives lacked confidence in him. I had the privilege to talk to one of the wives. She said to me, the way this man abandons his family, us, we felt he can also abandon the constituency. Because if he cannot take care of 19 people, what about 35,000 people in the constituency? So my brother, it is called a secret ballot for a reason. It's not like you vote and you show people. Your parents gave you an order, you must vote for this. But in the ballot there, because they have no mechanism to investigate on whether you voted for the political part of their choice or not. So the problem, Madam Speaker, is maybe lack of exposure. Because young people are using internet for wrong reasons. You do not research things that matter. In Zimbabwe and other countries, for one to be declared a winner in an election, you need 50 plus 1 vote. This means 50% of the total vote plus 1%. Not 50 plus 1%, 50 plus 1. So you count votes, you're at 50%. Someone else comes in running, maybe he or she is coming from work. He or she votes, then the president is declared. So it means your vote, lack of your vote, is why you are lamenting of the challenges that you claim to be facing today. And you have no right to challenge those that are in office if you did not participate in elections, let me tell you. Huh? Because, you know, you are just one of those people. You don't add your voice in the national elections. Okay, next person to raise an issue with the Speaker of Parliament. How many of you in here are keeping those free-range chickens? You have free-range chickens here?
Yeah.
How many of you? You have free-range chickens. How many? How many do you have?
Or a number?
Yes.
I don't pay particular attention because there are some.
Okay. How many? Raise your hands. Those that are doing something. Those who have free-range chickens. You can raise your hands. How many? 2 of you. Thank you. How many of you have vegetable beds at the backyard of their estates? Those who wake up in the morning to water the vegetables. Raise your hands. I want to see you. Okay. We have 7. 2 who are keeping free range and 7 who are doing vegetables. A total of 9 of this entire. It will be very difficult, Madam Speaker, to entrust leadership in the hands of people who cannot raise a chicken. Because agriculture teaches you leadership. Leadership is about knowing the problem and coming up with a solution. So, if you have your vegetable bed in the backyard, you know it's time to water my vegetables. You know there are aphids, it's time to spray. You know now it's time to harvest. You know it's time to plant another bed because you need continuous supply. That is the same as leadership. A leader must know the right time for everything. But let me tell you, if you believe in buying vegetables, there are certain things that Africans must not buy. The president of Botswana at one point he was addressing, he said his maid was from Zimbabwe. So he says, for a very long time, I didn't know that we must buy vegetables. So when the lady grew older, I said, no, I want to leave now, to go back home. I'm now old. President Boko says, it is at that time when my family started asking me to say, we need money to buy vegetables. Then he says, I asked myself, why were they not asking me about this man all along? That's when he discovered that the old lady had a vegetable bed in the backyard. For a very long time. So my point here is, before we cry for leadership, you must have something that you lead as an individual. Leadership does not start with people voting you. It starts with what can you do for your family first, in fact for yourself. Even the Bible says, God blesses the works of your hands. If I'm your boyfriend and I give you money, go and pay it at church. Those are not works of your hands. When you go to God, what is it that you are producing as an individual, despite the fact that you are a student? And when you approach leadership, if you are to meet the king today, besides yourself, what do you bring to the king? If you are keeping your chickens, it's fine to go with one, even a bundle of vegetables. This is what I have. So, Madam Speaker, here I am addressing people who haven't yet started to build the foundations of their lives. Because maybe the assumption is that after graduation, something is going to happen, a miracle. There is no miracle.
Now I can dance.
My brother here told us about, and the other brother about exportation of raw materials and stuff. It's a fact that we have gold in Africa, okay? And the price of gold on international markets ranges between $100 to $120. There's gold in Lesotho. Do you have gold here?
No.
Okay, I'll give an example of diamonds. But let me do with gold because I know the prices. So in Africa, we produce gold. Then we sell that gold on the international market for $100 as a raw material. Okay? Where we sell our gold, they take it and they process it. They manufacture a ring. And usually one ring carries 2 points of gold. And there are 10 points in a gram. Okay? So if we are to break it down, it means 1 point goes for $10, 2 points for $20. If you are to visit the jewelry shops today, the price of a 2-point gold ring ranges between $800 to $1,500. Okay? What it means is, as Africa, we sell 2 points of gold for $20. Those guys up there, they give us $20. And they sell it back to us at $1,500. Okay? We produce cotton. We export that bale of cotton for $350. When it gets there, they manufacture 100% cotton clothes. Then for us, they manufacture the nylon, the polycotton clothes. When they are tired of wearing those clothes, they repack them in the same bale, send them back to Africa at $450 per bale. In most cases, the only way you can wear 100% cotton clothes, it will be a used one. Okay? Who is to blame? Because as you are going to school, your idea is to get employed. Your idea is to secure a job at Mr. 𝗔𝗙𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗔𝗛 there, at a Chinese firm there. But look at this person from China. He does not bring land. The land is already here. He does not bring manpower. The manpower here. If you see him coming at the airport, you'll be holding a briefcase to use the resources that you are underutilizing. And it's not clever for a government to block foreign investors when there are no local investors. Because if there are minerals in the country, we need to mine those minerals for the sustenance of the country. So you cannot challenge the government to say why the government is allowing these people to come and invest here when there are no local investors. And who are the local investors? We are. You know, when you want to start something, the problem that we have, Madam Speaker, as young persons, is we want individual success. If any one of these girls here starts selling earrings, the other girl wants to know where she's getting those earrings. So she goes there and buy, ignoring somebody who is selling at the campus. I must tell you that we are the market ourselves. If you talk to the Jews, they don't buy from a non-Jew. If you see them buying from somebody who is not a Jew, it's because there is no one within their community who is selling the same product. Okay? So what we need to do is to realign our mindsets. We need to challenge ourselves. We need to ask ourselves, when you get data or free Wi-Fi, what is it that you Google on your phone? What you Google is that which defines you. Okay, we need to be productive as a first step. You know, I keep goats and some sheep back in my country. When I arrived here, my coordinator took me around. She was showing me this is where our parliament is. I said, it's fine. We have a dam, this is a sort of. So when I saw sheep there, I said, hey, I want to go there. Take me a picture. I even changed my face. I was happy. Because I know the guy who was heading the sheep is feeding all of you with your degrees. So we have a situation where those without degrees are productive than those who have degrees. And the end result is the degreed will be employed by the non-degreed. Yes, you can brag on social media to say I'm a degree holder, I graduated, I did my dissertation and stuff. And those without degrees will tell you, if I'm not around, you don't eat. We're still together. And then, in most cases, those without degrees also are leading you even at church. With your degree, a non-degreed person will be a pastor, giving you direction and hope that you will secure a job. And finally, politicians also. Leading you, but you don't have degrees, you don't have masters and stuff. The reason being that you depend much on paper than on action. The education system that we have in Africa is creating employees. An education system where engineers are only responsible for repairing and not inventing things. An education system of cramming notes. An education system that produces debaters and public speakers and motivational speakers. I started the chicken project with one pheasant. So what is it that we are doing as young persons to address the challenges that we have? Let me tell you the other way, the best way to become a leader in your community. I think the only person who has access to play around with the head of state is the Papa. We agree? Do we agree? Yeah. Even the king. For as long as he gets a haircut, it's somebody who is called a Papa, not a degreed person. But that, can you say the person is not a leader? Okay. Let's assume you are the biggest supplier of vegetables in your area. In the same area where the Speaker of Parliament stays. And the Speaker of Parliament sends your son or daughter to buy vegetables from you. Are you not a leader? Let's talk of Elon Musk, who is not a president. Can you say Elon Musk is not a leader? Yes. Unfortunately, let's give an example of Malawi or Mozambique. Who do you think wants an appointment with Elon Musk? Who do you think wants an appointment with the other? the president of that country or Elon Musk?
President.
Is it not a privilege for our presidents to meet Elon Musk?
It is.
Is he a president?
No.
Is he a politician? Apple is worth, the GDP of Apple iPhone is 5 trillion. What's the GDP of Lesotho? Not of Lesotho. What's the GDP of Africa? Because the global GDP, I think it's around 90 trillion. And iPhone alone is at 5 trillion. Now we have AI. Okay? In the next 3 years, the GDP of AI will be between 19 to 21 trillion. So here we have a company whose GDP is bigger than the GDP of a continent. We have Zuckerberg, the owner of Facebook. He's not a president. But I have seen presidents opening accounts on Facebook. Do you remember the other time when WhatsApp went down? Everyone was affected. Everyone, including presidents. So we have non-presidents who are more influential than presidents. And you can be one of those people. You can be more influential than the member of parliament if you choose to be innovative. I can't wait for a time when my brother, a politician, comes to you asking for votes because he knows we have so much people behind you. The problem with you is you believe power is in the hands of politicians. You forget that power is with the people. Okay? So what is it that you are known for in your community and at school? If people hear about your name, what comes to their mind? Partying and clubbing, it's fine. Ignore that one. So, Madam Speaker, the space is there. Thank you so much, our leaders, for creating it. What these fellow young persons forget is that you were also young at one point. And let me be sincere with you. You never, of course, shisha is nice to those who take it. But maybe you don't have pictures. You know what happens with life? Pictures of today can affect your career maybe 20 years later. Okay? And we look here, the Speaker of Parliament, who maybe in her entire life never shared nude pictures. Because at one point, when you are about, I know of a person, a night before elections, he had 70% chances of winning. The nude pictures were leaked at 2 a.m. They were circulating. His opponent was not campaigning. If I say 70%, I think 90%. The opponent was not campaigning. He was not on ground. And the victory was certain. Celebrations were in motion. But what the opponent knew was that I have your pictures, don't worry. So 2 a.m. on the eve of election, people are about to go and vote. The pictures are released into social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And what was the message? Vote for your best candidate. It was only a post. Like it was know your candidate, obviously in and out. So this is the inner side of your candidate. Of course. Who votes for such a person?
No one.
You follow? I know there are some of you who wants to be ministers. How many of you wants to be members of parliament? Okay. And how many of you wants to be ministers? You see, the number of those who wants to be MPs is less than the number of those who wants to be ministers. How then can you be minister if you're not an MP? Huh? You see, my brother, as a young person, never depend, I was telling my brother, never celebrate a corruption where the position is given to you without working for it. You cannot dream of becoming a senator when you're still young. Why are you avoiding being a member of parliament? When the majority of the electorate are young persons. So you can never be a minister when you're not in parliament. And the best way to be in parliament is when you are an active participant. And if you are not a registered voter, you cannot stand as a member of parliament. Did you know that? Did you know that? You didn't. So, who is more problematic, our leaders, between our leaders and ourselves? Madam Speaker, if we had invited maybe a musician to play amapiano, there could be numbers. How far? Second person to ask you a question in the lift. You've met Madam Speaker. Who has a question? Here's a question. You know, in Zimbabwe, we have a culture. When people want to raise their hands, we impose. Yes?
I believe I would ask what Parliament is doing in order to enact or amend laws to allow youth inclusivity in governance.
I think there are laws in place already. Like, I heard somebody talking about the, 30%?
The National Youth Policy.
Yeah, the National Youth Policy. But I think your problem is that you are saying the policy is not being implemented. We agree.
Yes.
There are so many ways of implementing policies, even from outside parliament. Let me tell you, you cannot ignore an effective person, no matter what. You know, there are certain people in this country, if he passes here, we may all leave the Speaker of Parliament to go to that person, but the person is not a politician. Do we agree?
Yes.
So as Africa Youth Congress, we appreciate our leaders when they meet at the SADC summit, where they discuss issues. AU, they discuss issues. UN, they discuss issues. Commonwealth, they discuss issues. But the idea that we have is, when the Prime Minister of Lesotho and the President of Zimbabwe meet, it doesn't mean the citizens have met also. They meet at their levels. What we need now is to have a citizen-to-citizen relationship. It is that relationship that will put an end to xenophobia. Okay? The reason why we have those type of fights as Africans is because we do not have time to meet. Obviously, we cannot do away with these borders. They are there already. But we want to live a borderless life in our minds. What makes you more interested in going to Dubai and not to Mozambique? Huh? If I talk about Dubai, everyone wants to go there. But remember, Dubai was a desert. Not many years ago. What did they do? When it's rain time, we all see those small rivers. They'll be having water. The water is running straight to the oceans and the seas because we do not have a mechanism to harvest water in our own countries. And people from Dubai simply diverted that. And above all, Dubai is not a country. Oh no, it's a city. So why are we so much attracted to visit European and Asian countries more than our African countries? The fact that we do not believe in ourselves. Yes?
Sir, I believe we lack patriotism.
Okay, lack of patriotism. But the reason why we lack patriotism, let me tell you something. Don't misquote me. I'm not saying elections are bad. They are good because it's a democratic process, okay? But the country you love so much, the city you love so much, Dubai, there are no elections in Dubai. Did you know that? No, there's no politics there. Because the problem, Madam Speaker, is every bitter person then becomes a political analyst. You wake up, you don't have data, you blame it to the Prime Minister. Every person who is bitter becomes a political analyst.
Okay.
And an economist.
Okay.
Everyone here, as I'm speaking, we are all politicians. not organically pressured politicians. So this is why I believe there are no elections in heaven. He has been God since day one, and he still is. The book of Isaiah tells us that at one point, the angel who was known for being a good musician, called Lucifer, he thought by himself that one day I will be God, because he has been God since day one. It's too much. I think I can be better God than him. So I lift my chair, put it upon his, then I become God. The moment he was still thinking, Michael, angel of war, I said, what are you thinking? Before he launched the manifesto, before campaign rallies, he was just thinking, and he was overthrown for that. So if you don't know how to practice democracy, it becomes lawlessness. You can mistake freedom of speech for insults, freedom of movement for trespassing. Okay? So never be confused with the term democracy to the extent of believing that your life, politics can change your life. Even if you are to become the president tomorrow, you can do so much as the leader. The rest is for that person. I've seen people going to churches, Comrade Top, and they are prayed for. I've never heard the prophet telling anybody that the problem why you're not successful is because of your government. They tell you it's evil spirits, okay? So, leaders, stop politicking. Okay? If you want to be successful in life, because it does not need a connection to the government for you to produce vegetables. You need no political connection to start to raise your sheep or your goats. Because to be honest with you, each and everyone in here, I consider the prices for sheep here. Maybe now the currency that we use on the US dollar ranges between $75 to $100. And I can tell you that since January, we hate that man. It's only that you channeled it in a wrong way. If you had bought maybe one sheep in January, the other one in June, in December maybe you could be having 6. But because of trends, you took that money and maybe you went to buy the iPhone. Yeah, iPhone. Even the sneakers. The way you are so familiar with clubs, but you lack knowledge of the farms that are producing the most in your land, that is your problem. The same reason as to you can spend the whole night in a club awake, but you sleep in church. So the problem with us is misplaced priorities. Priorities we have, but they are misplaced. So if you want to win, Comrade Topo, self-introspection. When you stand before us, tell us your weaknesses without saying we, say I. How are you contributing to the growth of your own economy? If the government says we are creating 1 million jobs, it's not like 1 million people will receive calls to say, no, go and gather at the university, we are coming to employ you. If I employ 2, you employ 4. That is how the government creates 1 million jobs. So what are you doing as an individual to make sure we achieve that? I brought a book that's from my country called Brick by Brick. This is what my president says. He says we are rebuilding Zimbabwe stone upon stone, brick by brick. So, you know, with success, you don't skip stages. You need to follow through. Be very careful of individuals you call role models. You cannot make Rihanna your role model. It means you are putting yourself under pressure. If you can buy maybe a dress at a price of $10,000, then if he's your role model, what are you going to do about it? So your role model should be your ideas. Okay? What you think must be your role model. Well, where your mind is pushing you towards. Who do you want to become in this country? You cannot go to school so that you become a socialite. It's not fair. It's not fair. There must be a difference. We are moving in the direction where a degree must be supported by action. Okay? Wealth accumulation, especially for generational wealth, starts now when you're at school. Because this is where you are creating networks. But what are you doing with those networks? Because 30 years to come, you will show us your picture with the Speaker of Parliament. This is when your children will start asking you, so when you had an opportunity to meet the Speaker of Parliament, what did you do? Then you say, I posted on status. So at times, we discourage others from going to school. You hear people say, I know degree is just a paper. You degree holders and students are the ones who are bringing up that narrative. Because you are going to school, but if the community is there, you don't think. I have a friend of mine who studied financial intelligence in Zimbabwe, and now he's a full-time plumber. Tried to look for a secure job, failed. He's now one of the biggest plumbers in Zimbabwe. Actually, he's getting big contracts. So I was talking to him, he said, I know I'm no longer coming back there. This financial intelligence degree, I will use it to manage my own finances. But I'm now a plumber. Because there's a difference between when you're at school and real life. After graduation, we welcome you to the real world, where no one is there to give you money. And parents are expecting you to bring something at home. And you lack skills. So it is that bunch of unemployed and down graduates who are causing us problems and becoming the Gen Z, the Gen Z. I must tell you this, there's nothing good about that. Because if you want jobs and you become violent in your own country, no one will come to invest in such an economy where there's no security. And president after president, criticism will always be there. You agree? In every country, whenever there's change of government, people expect better things. But now you hear them saying, I know, we made a mistake. The previous one was even better. And in Malawi now they voted the former president. They removed him saying he's failing. After 5 years they say he was better, he's now back. And next election you hear them saying we made a mistake, we could have left that one in Chakwera there. Life is not determined by politics, but by your individual choices. Last person to talk to the Speaker of Parliament.
I would not ask, but pitch. I would pitch to the Speaker that we create, the youth create the cooperation whereby each and every youth contributes in as much as little as 100 could make a difference. So in this cooperation, this is whereby we are united with our different intellectual skills in every sector, whereby if our country needs infrastructure, we have to do that, and we fund ourselves. We do not expect someone from outside to come and fund the project. If it is agriculture, we have people, we have planners, we have.
Good idea. My president says a country is built by its own people. No one will come and build your country. But does that need parliament? Do you need parliament endorsement to unite as young person and fundraise towards a cause? Do you need parliament? Because when there is a national project, Madam Speaker, and you are at home during weekends, are you restricted from maybe giving yourself voluntarily in assisting? Maybe there is, let's say there is a bridge construction in your community, and you mobilize maybe 20, 30 of you to say we need to go and assist. Does the government say no? You see where the problem is. The biggest capital that is every country have are its citizens. I know there are people who can throw away litter in the windows because they believe they are council workers who come and sweep. And maybe at home after eating, they throw the plates in the sink because there's a maid. As young persons, let's come up with consortiums. Imagine the newspaper headline tomorrow saying that a group of students from University of Lesotho, National University of Lesotho, have mobilized themselves to go and assist in this project. Maybe there's, I saw the parliament, there's a building in parliament there. So there are 100 students who are saying, no, we need to beat target. If the target was to complete in 7 months, we are giving ourselves so that we finish in 5 months and save money for 1 month, and that money will then be channeled to youth empowerment. How is that? Imagine if we have a situation where, because as a country we cannot import toothpicks and earbuds and tissues. Imagine if we are to have a group of young persons in the engineering sector. We say, look, instead of the government hiring 30 engineers, the government must hire 10 experts, and we give ourselves, we are 30, to assist in the project. You are building and you are also working. But this is it. If 30 engineers were to cost you $10, we are saying now remain with 10, and maybe give them $3. $7, channel it towards the improvement of young people's lives. How is that? And I think these are conversations that we should make. Next election, I know a majority of young people would want to secure political positions. The dangers of engaging in politics, if you lose, you may become uncontrollable. Was the problem with politicians, with supporters, they clap hands for all the candidates equally, and mostly depending on how much you give them. If I come to address here, I address you. Top will also come and address the same people. And everyone will go home thinking that, obviously I'm going to win. If you lose, then you might end up losing yourself. So as Africa Youth Congress, I want you to know that Zimbabwe, in 1999-2000, when we took back our land from the colonial masters, we took it, not by force, but we took it. Around 2001, there are those things that are called sanctions. Sanctions were imposed on Zimbabwe. These sanctions are economic sanctions. Zimbabwe now is not allowed to borrow. We don't have access to loans. We could not import then, and we could not export. One of the biggest steel manufacturing plants in Africa, Zisco Steel, was put under sanctions. It employed 8,000 people, with a upward and downward stream beneficiaries of 150,000. The company was put under sanctions. When the company is put under sanctions, it means the company cannot trade. Offshore accounts were frozen. The company could not import raw materials. The company could not export steel. We also had Shaban Mashawa mine, they were mining asbestos. We also have CSC. So companies closed in Zimbabwe. And we were left with no choice. That's why you see majority of our people are out here. You come to Lesotho, they are Zimbabweans. You go to South Africa, they are Zimbabweans. Because the economy was grounded. But the president said we need to look for solutions from amongst ourselves. We started hunting for solutions. What do we do? And we started promoting the agricultural sector and the mining sector. We said, no, it's fine. If you discover gold at your backyard, freely mine the gold, sell it to the government. The government will buy it at a fair price. Because we now need to rebuild our country. We are the solution givers. We are the solution to the problems of our country. And to this day, Zimbabwe is flourishing. And Madam Speaker, before I round up, I would love to come up with a partnership of some sort with this university, where if we work it well, I would love to provide transport and start an exchange program. between the students of Lesotho and the students of Zimbabwe. The reason being that I want those from Zimbabwe to learn from the youth from Lesotho, and for these comrades from Lesotho to learn from the youth of Zimbabwe. I've said Zimbabwe because this is where I'm coming from. But the same should happen with Botswana. We must also see students from Lesotho going to Botswana and Botswana coming here. This is how we create a strong movement towards economic emancipation. And when these people come to Botswana, Comrade President, don't take them to hotels. Take them where real life is. They must meet with those downtrodden youth who are productive. Organize for them to meet with the non-degreed who are making it in life. Those are the raw areas there. Imagine if you have to combine your degree with productivity. You are studying accounts, and you start to account for your own money. Unfortunately, you are studying accounts and you spend much of your money on beer. There are no returns. So we need to start exchange programs. And I think, Madam Coordinator, we must give first preference to those who have attended this seminar. Of course, the unfortunate part maybe your sister who studies here is not in here, and obviously you might want to see her in Zimbabwe. It's fine, but let's give first preference to those that are attending this. When we come back here next time, we want testimonies of what you started after this summit. If you had to buy 2 chickens today, a hen and a cock today, or maybe tomorrow, let's see after 3 months how many you have. Imagine slaughtering your own chicken and you eat it. Imagine myself as your visitor. You give me anything that you are doing to say, look, Chairman, welcome to Lesotho. Here's your chicken. Eating your own sweat is an advantage. Having a time where you take yourself to salon, besides the boyfriend. Where your boyfriend will see you with nails, even once in a year. In as much as he's giving you the allowance, and majority of them don't give because they're doing nothing. Because you cannot look after your girlfriend after your brother or your parents give you something. As girls, you must learn to investigate, where did you get this? It will be very good to visit your boyfriend and see what he's doing, to visit your girlfriend and see what she's doing. Then you are guaranteed that if I marry this one, she can become a mother. He can become a father. One cannot qualify to be a father by taking you to a club. The addiction to shisha does not qualify one to be a mother. We need production. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable 𝗔𝗙𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗔𝗡, the Continental Chair for the African Youth Congress. Thank you for those words of wisdom, for those words of encouragement, for those thought-provoking words. And I hope and believe that as leaders here of today, we will leave this room having a different perspective on how we address some of the issues. Having said that, I have an honor to invite the Honorable Member of Parliament, Honorable Mafete, from the constituency of 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛𝗛.
Very unfortunately, I can't work as long as he did. He's quite good at it, so I'll leave that to him for the next session, whenever that will be. As it has been said, my name is 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛. I'm an MP from 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛, elected under the political party of Revolution for Prosperity. I'm also a member of a network called African Parliamentarians on Internet Governance Network. While also, or almost so, is for Internet Inclusivity Governance of Internet governance. But now, with where we are today, in terms of this engagement with the African Youth Congress of the Lesotho chapter, and once again, thank you for the invitation to you guys. I'd like to embrace the fact that today we're here engaging on issues relating to youth, engaging on issues, hopefully, that you guys would be implementing after this chapter in the next year or two. By the way, elections will be in about 2 years, so if you want to come into parliament, as you've said, it's high time to start campaigning. 27, 27 yeah, that you campaign, so welcome aboard. I think today what is most important is the fact that we've put forth that SDGs are the sole driver, most probably continentally and globally, where we now need to be engaging in and looking forward to in terms of changing. Well, although America has voted against the SDGs, but fortunately the whole world is there. Now we'll be talking about a very short thing in terms of Lesotho, where I would like to see our country. Like I said, I'm not good at talking for a long time, so I'll try to be as brief as possible and hopefully straight to the point where we need to be. In my take is that with you guys, given that we're in a technological hub of Lesotho, which is NUL, I'd like us to look into SDG 9. SDG 9 is about innovation, industry innovation and infrastructure. And in our case is that we live in never-changing times where the rise of technology is the driving force of the entire nation. Now we need to be more robust in engaging the Lesotho in such changes, as the industry holds a lot of potential for hosting Africa's tech hubs, as our Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable 𝗔𝗙𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗔𝗔 has noted in the UN General Assembly just last week. Now, if we're able that we as a country, looking at what is happening in industries such as the textile industries and even the industries that's busy trying to drown. Now, I'm talking about technology simply because I think, in my case, it's in my heart. In my case, I think it's part of the roots that I've been in. Now, we cannot create anything in this country right now and henceforth without the use of technology. We're sitting here, we're talking on a technological platform. We're being viewed on a technological devices. Now, my take is, if we can take it a bit further, to try and engage it more in terms of bringing back into our country the glory that probably had once been, in terms of getting refinance into this country, I think it would be good. So now, I'd like us to really look for that, whatever it is that you'll be doing today after this, that you can also help in that part of the SDGs, and hopefully it will be something that's going to be a driving force of this country. I cannot really put it out there to say that our country or the basics that the leaders of this country before we came in have been doing were not in proper principle. They have been. But now, with your engagements, with the time that you're putting in, with the efforts that you're willing to come and put in as the youth of this country, my hope is that you'll be able to put it out there that we are able as a country to truly, with the use of it, be in a better space than we are today. As I said, I'm not really as good as a talker, as opposed to a person who would be more engaged in doing works that might be. I'd like to thank the host of this wonderful event for bringing us back in, for engaging us today with the wonderful delegations that have been here. I've learned quite a lot from you guys, and hopefully we'll be able to engage further after all of this. And as I was sitting here, I was asked about my bio. I think I've just realized that in my case, that my bio, it's safe to say that I come from a messed up society. One that really needs to be amended by you guys, to be put back into proper perspective. Our country has always been led and has always been engaged with people who do not see reason and thought enough for us as a youth. Our country has always been taught that the only reason that we need to gain, that we need to it is only hore re shebele godimo go batho ba go dumela hore ke ka bona fela re nang le monyetla wa go etsa eng kapa eng nako eo mme kopo ya rona ke ya go tsatsing lena. It is your time to make that change and difference. We came into parliament, some of us, simply to make that short-term change and hoping that there will be people who've got better will and drive to come and do that significant change. And if it is you guys who are sitting here who are able to do it, then big ups to you. Change is not brought by a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's usually by a few people. It takes two people to make a change. And if everybody in here comes from a different constituency, you're able to make that change, I think you'll be in a better position to say, you've done your part, you've done your bit, and hopefully you do. I'd like to thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mafeta, the Member of Parliament from 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛 and a Member of Revolution from Prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now about to be addressed by our last speaker and a guest, who is Honorable 𝗟𝗘𝗦𝗦𝗢𝗧𝗛𝗢. Honorable Ts'ehla is the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. And before that, she was a student here at the National University. She did computer science and physics in the Faculty of Science and Technology. Apart from that, Honorable Ts'ehla has held various and influential positions in the country. So others, she will indicate them. Honorable Ts'ehla, over to you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Director. Let me just acknowledge each and every one of you here, but I would particularly like to acknowledge the presence of the
Continental Chairperson of African Youth Congress. I also acknowledge your presence, the coordinator, 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗧𝗛, right? And the Lesotho chapter. Everyone in the African Youth Congress, I acknowledge you. But then I will lose my job if I don't recognize the presence of our Member of Parliament from Lesotho. May I acknowledge all of you, leaders, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the youth of our country. 𝗔𝗙𝗥𝗜𝗖𝗔𝗡. So I'm the last speaker to this huge event. Huge because I'm with the leaders of this country representing different constituencies and not necessarily political constituencies, but each and every one of you, you're here because somebody believes in you for something that you're doing. And yes, right now you are recognized by certain people that could have possibly voted you into whatever position that you are, but from home, you are your own leader, because that is where you learn the principles that have made you who you are. And I want to appreciate each and every one of you for taking responsibility to lead in whatever area that you are leading, because with that, you are making a huge difference. I recall seated there, you know, now as a deputy speaker, I sit around a lot of people, a lot of elderly people. And seated there, I felt like I'm so old because you're making me feel so old. And I'm like, I've been here before, I've been in this space before. I have, you know, wanted to make a difference in life. I have tried to make so many different things. I have fallen, I have risen, I have made it, I have kept on, I've been moving up until today. And I have not given up yet, and I'm not going to stop, because I know the road ahead still has turbulences, but it's something that we should all go through, such that we make a difference in our countries, in our lives. We have been given guidance from our African Youth Congress leadership. I think the words that have been spoken to us have really changed us somewhat. I am sure now when you leave, you're a different person from when you came here. And we really appreciate the strong messages that you gave to our youth, with conviction, the encouragement that you've just relayed to them, that it is possible with them. Now, I'm now a deputy speaker. Oh yeah, but substantially now for a few days, the actual speaker. You know what happens in Lesotho when the speaker is not in the country, the deputy speaker becomes substantive all right. So like now, yeah, I'm like, yeah. Anyway, now I was like, why was I called? Why was I called to this place? And then I recalled that much as I'm feeling a bit old, which really I'm not feeling. You think I'm old because you are younger, but I'm feeling so young.
Yeah.
I'm feeling rejuvenated all the time because I embrace life today.
Yeah.
And I always say, I am here to make a difference.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm a leader. I'm not a leader because you're saying I'm a leader. I'm a leader because I'm telling myself I'm a leader. No one is going to give you a degree and say, today you are a leader. He said it, the Continental Chairperson, he said it, that you are a leader because of what you do. You are a leader because of the change that you bring to other people's lives. So I'm like, okay, I'm a leader, I know. And what is it that I've done very recently? This is a youth engagement activity, and now in Parliament, I'm trying to use my position influentially. But I've been using my position, even before I was a member of Parliament, influentially before. In Lesotho, there's this saying that when you speak a lot, when you are too forward, they say wapap. And you know, anybody that says that to me, they make me so happy. They make me so happy because they are acknowledging that I am present. They can feel me because my absence will definitely be felt. And my presence now, which I'm trying to push around everywhere I go, knowing that 2028 will be going for elections, I'm on a mission to recruit young people, on a mission to recruit women to go to Parliament. Why am I on that mission? It's because I am so annoyed right now. I am annoyed that in Parliament we only have 3 youth members of Parliament. That annoys me. I'm annoyed because we have only 30 women out of 120, 25%. I'm annoyed. Our policies, our gender policy, our youth policy, they talk a different story. I've been a member of Parliament before, the last Parliament, before this one, that when I was chosen Deputy Speaker, elected. And I've been a member of a political party, Movement for Economic Change. I joined it not too long ago, 2017. That was my first time ever in politics. And before then, I was like, there's no way I'm getting into politics. I hate this thing. Because, you know, you have your name dragged into mud all the time. There are people that make allegations and people sort of brand you in a particular way. And now when you are a woman, and a young woman for that, now that's another story. Because you cannot get into my position without being labeled that you slept your way to the top. And that's like, I mean, this is rubbish. And it's high time that we remove this mentality, such that when you get into a position, you maintain your dignity and you prove that you are there because you deserve it and nobody made you a favor. What he talked about when he talked to social media issues, what is it that you are posting on social media? Some of you are posting because they want to show off. It's not a bad thing. But just be mindful that whatever you are posting is going to follow you. And I don't care what it is going to follow you. Even if you delete it in the future, somebody's taking a screenshot. And when you are aspiring to be recognized as a leader, behave like one. All the time. I don't care whether it's where you are by yourself with whoever, or you are out here like I am. Because, number 2, when you are in leadership, there's always somebody who's eyeing your position. Yes. And when there's somebody that's eyeing your position, there's always somebody that's strategizing against you. So they are keeping a diary of your every movement, and they are making sure that the minute they have an opportunity, like he indicated with the previous elections that he talked to, the minute they can use that information against you, you're out. And you know, when you're a leader, you have to be ruthless. Ruthless in thought for deliverance of your people.
Yes.
You have to be So I'm here, I'm saying, I'm annoyed by our parliament because we don't have youth, we don't have women. And I've been telling young people like yourselves to brace yourselves, get into the race for parliament. I could be biased because I'm in parliament. You can be in a race for any leadership position. But my point is, whatever is being done in parliament, by the people in parliament, the decisions they make because they feel it's the right thing to do, as far as they're concerned, not as far as you're concerned. Now, why aren't young people in parliament? You don't vote for each other. You are jealous of each other. You don't like somebody standing out there and representing you. That is the reason. But I think there has been a call for unity. And that unity, it begins with you in your different groups, where you decide, you are purposeful that you want to elect young people into positions of power. It does not matter who that person is. But if you find a willing candidate, because it's not everybody that wants to be a candidate, but if you want a willing candidate, please support that candidate. Because that person knows who you are, knows what you want, and they will stand for you and represent you where it matters. Now, the other thing that annoys me is people think Parliament is a retirement home. That really annoys me, because it says you go there when you feel you're out of options, or when you are tired and you want to keep yourself busy. Parliament should not be treated as an alternative to whatever you could be doing, and you're like, oh, I think I can do this instead because it's so easy to get. No, that is a career space. And it's a career. When you treat it like that, you will make the right decisions, and we will free our countries from these dependencies that we are in, because we elect people into Parliament for the wrong reasons. When somebody supports you and they give you money, you're like, this is my candidate. What does that have to do with the work of Parliament? Making law, allocating budget, and influencing policy, government policy, and being a representative of the people. Now tell me, when you buy somebody a bag of potatoes because they're saying they're hungry, that is a nice gesture. But trust you me, it is not something that is going to make your Parliament efficient and effective with that kind of a person that you choose, who may not necessarily like or understand English, number one. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
English. Two, who does not like to read? Because he can tell you, they can tell you, there are lots and lots of documents that you read in Parliament. And when you read those documents, you have to analyze and make decisions that will influence the policy and make changes that you want for yourselves. Now, if you have somebody in Parliament who is not necessarily in a leadership state, that is the kind of person who will be told, we're going to vote this way today, and you don't ask why, because you are told this is what we have to vote for. And you know, when you vote in Parliament, that is power. You said, oh, I don't remember who, but you said you don't vote because you feel your voice is meaningless. You feel your vote does not make a difference. Now, each and every time a person does not vote, they're giving somebody reason and a space to make decisions for them, because they have created that laxity for them to gain numbers. So when you don't vote, you are still voting. It's just that you have voted in the negative or whatever you could have voted for. So I'm saying we need young people in Parliament, but my mission is to make sure that they understand why they need to get to Parliament and how they can support each other. How do you do that? You get into your political parties. And in your political parties, I know that 𝗓𝗪𝗪𝗓𝗧𝗛, he talked to the issue of being worried about the numbers of members of Parliament and saying our policy is saying something that is different from what is actually happening on the ground. When you are a member of a political party and you follow your party issues, the Independent Electoral Commission invites political parties to have a voice in the bills that concern party representation in Parliament. They call them to have a voice on gender representation. Now, if you are not bothered about what your party is communicating to the independent electoral body, that says you are not presenting your voice on the changes that you want. And you can be the influence that says, my political party, please, let's change this bill to represent the policy as it is, such that now it becomes something that is actionable. Because we are complaining, but we're not necessarily taking the right steps to make the changes that we want. I talked to one angle, that is the political party, through the IEC. The other angle is yes, through your legislators. Can I have my bag there, please? Below there. The other way is to go through your legislators. Your legislators, when bills, thank you. When bills are presented in Parliament, are you ever interested in what the bills are saying? Hello? Okay, let me start here. But you know what a bill is, right? Oh, okay. So when bills are being discussed in Parliament, do you ever have interest in what the bills are saying?
Yeah.
Well, there's a 1 yes, but I think the majority of you are saying no. Because one, you may not be bothered, two, you may not know, and three, you may decide, no, I'm bothered, but my leadership will make the decisions. And I'm saying to you now, you need to change that kind of mentality towards taking part in issues that concern you in the country. When there are bills that are being presented in Parliament, it's time for you to present your voice on such bills and inform your legislators that this section, it needs to be changed in this manner and that manner so that it addresses our issues. Like now, I'm telling you this because soon we should be discussing the electoral model. There was a time when the bill, the IEC, when the bill on the representation of members in Parliament was being discussed, and changes were made, but I know that they're going to be made again, the changes. And I'm just cautioning you that that time when it comes, please talk to your legislators and find out what the bill is saying regarding your representation in Parliament. I would so much love to have a chance where instead of just talking to the PR, the system that we use of male-female, instead of just using the PR in that manner, we also include the youth in our PR list. When we include the youth, we say it's a male, it's a female, it's a young person. Male, female, young person. That could help in improving your numbers in Parliament. But let's remember that before you are even elected in Parliament, you have to go through your primaries with your political parties, and that is where you also have to be elected. So that's another area where you need unity. You need to be represented as young people, by the young people, because your numbers are huge, but you are not electing yourselves. You are electing people that you are fearful of, your leaders, and sometimes you think they know what you are actually voting for in the booth, and that's not necessarily the case. This has also been alluded to, or it has been indicated before. I wanted to talk about a number of things which have been presented to you already, but I will talk to one thing that really, I feel this is the group that needs to hear about. 2 days ago, I arrived from China. I had been there for a month, and I was learning about their governance. Tomorrow, it's Independence Day, Lesotho. We're going to celebrate it, right? Yes. What are we celebrating? What are we celebrating? Independence. Okay, the verb, I suppose. But we're now independent. I got back from China. What I learned there, which I need to share with you, is that China got its independence in 1949. But then it made some reforms, and these reforms were only made 40 years ago. The reforms were made only 40 years ago, and China, before the reforms that it made, it was counted as one of the poor countries in the world. But now, it is the second to America today, only 40 years after its reforms. Why am I saying this? We have been talking about SDGs, And SDGs started in 2012, by the way. And we're supposed to reach the culmination in 2030. So that says we're left with 5 years to SDGs. And my question is, do we think it's feasible to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals? Why isn't it possible?
It's feasible.
It's possible. The 𝗟𝗦𝗧𝗛 says it's possible to achieve the goals. I'm saying part of the goals, it's possible to achieve them. But what comparison am I making with China? I'm saying China, it was one of the least developed countries 40 years ago. And today, it is second to the United States. Because those people, they are focused. They are coordinated, they are very disciplined. And they work on their 5-year plans and achieve the 5-year plans. I'm bringing the SDGs now to our National Strategic Development Plan because I want to caution you that much as we are talking the global picture or the continental picture, which is, we can talk the Africa 2063, that's another thing. But let's talk the Lesotho level. We have the National Strategic Development Plan. Now my question to you would be, do you know what the National Strategic Development Plan says about you? Do you know what is being done regarding the National Strategic Plan where you are concerned? And the National Strategic Plan says the government is in for 5 years and it has to attain certain targets. Now, what is your responsibility, you as the young people of Lesotho? You need to hold us, your legislators, accountable because we need to play our oversight role on the executive to ensure that it is implementing on the National Strategic Development Plans. And the question is, are we going to take this moment to now get our notebooks and start noting what the NSDP is saying, such that we follow our governments towards the achievement of the NSDP, which will in turn make the government lead itself towards the SDGs that we are here talking about. So just remember that there is the National Strategic Plan which we need to align ourselves with. And what the Chinese people do, when there are plans from leadership, such plans are embraced from the top to the last citizen. There is no doubt about the implementation of the plans that they have because they actually give themselves targets and they achieve them way before those targets. Right now, as I speak with you, the SDGs, the Chinese are already ahead. They have achieved the Sustainable Development Goals, but we are here. We don't even know what the Sustainable Development Goals are, and we don't even know whether we're going to achieve them. There is no way we should celebrate our independence when we have no plans to get out of the poverty that we are in. There is no way. And who is responsible for that? Your good selves. Because you need to get engaged in growing the economy of this country. The government has its own role. And some of us think the government's role is to give jobs, whereas the government's role is to develop a conducive environment for jobs to be created. Now, we all know that every one of us here is going to do something to create jobs somewhere and to grow the economy. We all know that. But what I want to emphasize to you is the changes that we want to see in this country. They are really the changes that you're going to make in your everyday lives. I want to ask you a question. Do we know what our budget is, our national budget? Do we know what our budget is?
No.
Okay, maybe we don't know about our budget. But do we know how we need to see ourselves in the implementation of our budget? Sorry?
No.
How do we do that? How do we see ourselves in the implementation or the usage of our budget? What is it that we do?
From what I've read, recently the Ministry of Finance made an outreach to say we must put our contributions in the budget. So it starts there, whereby we start saying only around these sectors. So then from there, obviously, the parliament makes the budget and or the minister makes the budget, and the parliament comes and it gets distributed. So basically, the only can get to be involved in the use of the budget is from its initial phase when we get it.
Thank you. Now, why am I asking this? Another question was raised. Thank you for that, because that's exactly what should happen. Another reason, what was raised earlier was, bo to how to na le mogalo o tlileng o tlotla bua le setšhaba ka ditaba tsa tshebediso ya ditšhelete kapa ka taba ya go ba o etsa di-budget. Do you ever get involved? Because that is where your voice needs to be heard. Our honorable MP from 𝗓𝗖𝗦𝗦, he is going to agree with me that Parliament is sometimes just a rubber stamp on the budgets that are presented. But those budgets, the voice that creates the budgets, actually comes from you as citizens when you get engaged during the development of the budget, where government, through its officers, now talk to you in your different constituencies. And if that doesn't happen, then that says you are not necessarily involved in the budget planning process. And if you are not involved in the budget planning process, at least make sure that you are involved in the diversification of our goods. Our economy can grow, because what you are producing yourselves, you need to make sure that it circulates in the country. And when the production that you make is circulating in the country, that says money flows between individuals in the country, instead of when you keep buying imports from outside, and that says you are sending your money immediately outside the country and we are not generating any income in the country. We are an export-led, we import. We're an import-led community. And we need to make sure that we export more than we import. And how do we do it? We do it when we produce our own products and we sell them outside, instead of always bringing the products from outside and buying them ourselves, because that says money is flowing outside and it's not necessarily coming in. And one other way is, yes, what is it that we do with the products that we have? Tate coordinate the chairperson, he also talked about that, like what is it that we do for value addition of our products in our country. But the long and short of what I'm saying is, we need to be involved in driving the economy in our country. Guys like Lesotho products, buy Lesotho products. Do not get excited that you have labels and you have enriched somebody outside, because those people are making money off of you when we don't necessarily have our own money. So as government is pushing along and it's trying to implement on the National Strategic Development to achieve this, the SDGs, you yourselves also have a role to play as individuals in your own communities, but you also need to influence the people that you are leading, because they do as you do. When you are a leader, people look at you and they follow your instructions, they follow your cue, they follow your guidance. So what is it that you are doing to guide or lead them accordingly? Now, as I end my my short speech, I hope, I want to say to you, we need to embrace the fact that we are leaders today, and you need to have a vision. I am going to ask you to have a plan. Set a diary for yourself, for your future self in 5 years. I need you to ask yourself, to plan, what is it that you want to have achieved at the end of 5 years? Whether you're talking what you will have acquired, whether you're talking the education that you will have received, whether you're talking the assets that you will have, whether you're talking the organizations that you will have influence over, but set a date, a future appointment with yourself today. Because when you don't do that, somebody's setting that appointment for yourself today as I speak with you. So it's important that you plan what you want to achieve, and you, step by step, you embrace the milestones as you achieve whatever it is that you will be achieving. Some of you are going to be graduating soon, and that is excellent. But you need to know, beyond the graduation, what is it that I'm going to do with that qualification? You don't necessarily have to follow the qualification that we have. It has taught you how to interact with people, how to lead. It has taught you how to find solutions. But it does not necessarily say your path is carved in that particular certificate that you will be getting, or degree or diploma. It simply says now you are more open-minded, you are focused, and you can channel yourself into any direction of life that you want. Like they said, I graduated in computer science and physics, but now I'm in politics. But the lessons that I got with my computer science, they still make me who I am today. Why? Because computer science is creativity. And when that creativity, it guides me on how to deal with issues. When there are problems, how do I find the different solutions to the problems? Because with computer science, you have the if and then you have to find solutions to issues that come about. So I'm saying, when you are doing language, it does not mean you're going to teach languages. You could be any other place. You could be, maybe there's somebody that's producing products in Lesotho and they want to translate them to a language that you know, so that they can be sold in a different country where that language is spoken. That is how you can make use of the education that you have. So all I'm saying is, whatever you are doing today, make an appointment with your future self. Because if you don't make that appointment, trust me, somebody's making that appointment for you. And you might not necessarily like it, but you will have to be engaged because you will not have done something that's productive for yourself. And with this few words, I wish you all the best. I know sometimes we experience challenges in life. I know sometimes we plan but God decides. But at the end of the day, remember, you cannot sit around and wait for things to happen for you. You always have to take the lead. Whether you fail, but you will dust yourself and you will come back again with more vigor, but you will know because you will have learned, you will have gained lessons from that experience. And please bear in mind, we are not leaders because you do not have the opportunities to lead. We are leaders because you want us to remain there, you don't want to get there. And the question that I'm leaving now with you is, do you want to be a leader? I wish you all the best in all your future endeavors, and I say, remember all the time, you can make it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable 𝗤𝗢𝗔𝗡𝗤𝗔. Thank you very much. We are indeed humbled as the African Youth Congress and as well as the youth of Lesotho and across borders for those words of wisdom. We know, Honorable Mosina, the first encounter with this organization, because I know you have the interest at heart for the organizations of youth. You just called us to the National Assembly. And of course, as the Lesotho chapter, we went to the National Assembly, we met with you, you gave us some words of encouragement, how we can deal with things. Kore, you were open. You were a mother to us. And we know exactly the pivotal role that you played today for the success of this event. We are indeed humbled. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are about to conclude this momentous and auspicious occasion, I have an honor to call the Continental Chair, Honorable, please approach me to execute the simple assignment. Honorable Mosina and Honorable Mafete, may you please come forth here.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I have a gift for my president. He gave me something. He said I must hand over to you his biography of our president and the past immediate subject chair called The Life of Sacrifice. When I told him I'm going to talk to him, also have for you, Honorable. And for the school, who is here for the management is not here. Maybe the SRC can receive this on behalf.
Adoro.
I have a gift from my president, President Nagaba, these 2 books for the library at the school. So maybe we can. Thank you. And I believe comrades are preparing lunch. When we were talking with the leadership there, we agreed to say no. After all has been said and done, we all need to eat. Even those who want to be in politics, those who want to eat. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Continental Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the announcements. Your food will be there very shortly. So I will request you to be just around here. All of you who are here, your food will come very shortly. Okay? So while waiting, you can enjoy some snacks. And I'm even aware that the schools are going for short break today, so you don't have to worry about the assignments. As for... okay. I'm advised that after here, we'll go for a group photo, and then we'll remain here and wait.